If you're dropshipping or running an e-commerce brand, your fulfillment is everything when it comes to the integrity of your business. And for dropshippers specifically, this lean fulfillment model is what attracts most people, but they end up shooting themselves in the foot because they don't understand how to find reliable sourcing agents, manufacturers, suppliers, 3PLs, etc. And that's how you run into payment processor issues, Facebook page bans, chargebacks, refunds, the whole 9 yards. So gone are the days of fulfilling with Oberlo and AliExpress. And if you actually want to build a profitable e-commerce business in 2024 and beyond, you need good, reliable sourcing agents, manufacturers, and 3PLs. So first, let's talk about manufacturers, because without these guys, we would not have any products to be able to sell, because they are the ones that are actually producing these new products or iterating on past products that have done really well for them. So these are the guys making sure that the product quality is good. So it's very important that with your manufacturer, whether you are the one doing the negotiation, the communication, or it is your agent, that there is some form of quality assurance, that you have reasonable lead times, that your product and shipping costs are reasonable and aren't hiked up a ridiculous amount, that you have an element of privacy with your supplier so that they're not just gonna share your product, especially if there is any custom designs or iteration to an original product. You just wanna make sure that they're not gonna share that with the entire world, right? And that they have a reasonable defect and damage policy. Now, there's a lot of ways of finding good manufacturers, but since most of you who are watching this are getting into the dropshipping game, or you already have a dropshipping business, then you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone by getting connected with a sourcing agent. If you find a really good product on AliExpress and you're not trying to customize on that product, you just wanna sell it as is, then again, instead of fulfilling directly from AliExpress and dealing with those slow shipping times, with higher markups, with terrible communication, and with little to no protection regarding damages, defects, and refunds, that's when it's time to switch over to a sourcing agent, where you can share an AliExpress link, but then they can go directly to a manufacturer that produces that product with good quality and at reasonable prices. So then you just have to trust that you're leaning on a good agent that actually has a good relationship and connection with a manufacturer and is going to vouch for you and is not solely looking out for themselves, because there are many bad agents where they just give you the price that you want to hear, but then they're giving you a totally different product that you're selling to customers and then making them unhappy and then destroying your business. So your sourcing agent is basically your middleman, right? They're the person that's connecting you with the manufacturer and that is coordinating the distribution with a 3PL that they are likely partnered with or that they might even own. And honestly, the best way to find sourcing agents is from other people, right? Getting connected from people like me or other sellers that you know are reliable and that are only going to work with reliable sourcing agents. And typically they have minimum order quantities, but there are some that have apps and that have systems and services that are more flexible and offer no minimum order quantities. So you can totally just test products with these companies until you start scaling those products. And then it maybe makes more sense to talk to a private supplier that deals with higher volume and can get you better rates and faster shipping and more customizable packaging and things of that nature. Now, some things to look out for when it comes to actually working with a reliable agent is making sure that they have good product and shipping prices. Now, in some instances, just because they're offering you the lowest prices doesn't mean that it's the best product quality. So you want to make sure that that alignment between product price and between quality. You also want to make sure, obviously, that they can ship the product quickly. Generally, my rule of thumb is 7 to 9 business days. If it's taking any longer than that, then it oftentimes means that your agent is working with a distributor that doesn't really have good shipping connections. And then if they tell you one thing and you're consistently getting something else, longer delays towards specific countries, then you want to run as fast as you can over to other agents. Product quality assurance is the most important thing for me personally, because if I start testing a product, I might not order a sample. I might not have the product in hand. It's probably not going to be on Amazon for me to order it and figure out what the quality is. And even if it was, and I ordered that product, I don't know that my manufacturer is the same manufacturer as the seller on Amazon. And the likelihood that it is very slim. So because I'm not able to feel and touch the product before actually going ahead and starting to sell it, then I at least want to make sure that as I'm selling it and getting ready to scale it up, if it's a profitable winning product, that I'm able to get a very, very quick sample from this agent to be able to express ship it to me so that I can receive it, make sure it's all good before I really hit the gas, and also so that I can forward those products maybe to UGC creators and get good content for it as I'm scaling it up. Then a very important thing is package customizations and communication. So obviously 2 separate entities, but they kind of go hand in hand, because if you have a very communicative agent, it's way more likely that they'll be able to customize things for you and tailor the experience based on specific requests that you might have. So you might want to put your logo on the box or your logo even on the product in some instances, or just put a simple piece of paper that's a package slip that allows you to offer a discount code or write a little thank you note to your customer, because those things go a very, very long way. So it's really important that like you just have direct one-on-one line of communication with that agent. Also, if it's not already obvious, you want to make sure that they live in China and they're able to be in the warehouse that has the product, so that you have that ability to text them, call them, WhatsApp, WeChat, whatever it is, and just make sure that you're able to have your questions answered in a timely manner. So for example, one of my sourcing agents actually lives half of the time in Dubai and then half of the time in China. So there's a 50-50 chance that when I message him, he's going to be on site able to help me out. If not, one of his employees and team members will be in contact with me that is able to let me know what issues might be going on with the product or answer any questions that I have. Now for an ERP, this is basically just a fulfillment management software. You want to make sure that there's not a bunch of like Chinese lettering and you know what's going on. You can see the orders that are being fulfilled. You can see orders that might be getting refunded. You can see the cost and the price of everything to make sure that it aligns with the original quote that they're sharing, and that there's some form of a billing mechanism that's easy for you to keep track of what's going on, right? Just to make sure, again, that everything aligns with what they said they were going to charge you and what you actually got charged. And it should also seamlessly integrate with Shopify. If there's not a Shopify integration, they probably don't know what they're doing. And so you probably want to stay away from working with them. And then lastly, this is something not a lot of people know about, but there's a concept called local delivery tracking. And that is when a supplier has a good relationship with shipping carriers and is shipping through a carrier that is connected to a destination shipping carrier. So for example, they might ship from a specific shipping line from China that gets to the United States, but then once it gets handed off into the United States, it then gets transferred to a US local postal service or delivery company. And that is the thing that gets updated in the tracking information. And it doesn't say that that product shipment originated from China, because a lot of times for different customers, it can significantly like turn them off and catch them off guard, and then have them either not want to purchase from you or cancel their order before they even receive it. Now, the beauty in this is that if the tracking number doesn't get updated until it's actually in the destination country, then it really does hold your sourcing agent accountable to getting the product in the destination country as soon as possible. Because once it's there, then it's in the United States, Postal Service's hands, and it's no longer kind of the responsibility of the agent. But while that product is kind of up in the air, literally, and getting shipped from China to the United States, it might take 5 to 6 days, generally maximum. That's when you want to just be communicative and transparent with your customers and say, hey, it might take a few days for this tracking number to actually populate and for us to be able to process your order and ship the product to the destination country. And then once it's in your country from our warehouse, you don't have to specify that it's in China, but you shouldn't try to like lie or go around those things. This is just a tactic so that you're not screaming to the world that you're shipping products from China, if that might be off-putting for some of your customers. And in my eyes, that's even a form of value add in and of itself, because some products are going to solve a customer's problem. And if they had this bias that, oh, all products from China were poor quality, and they saw that, then they might not have the opportunity to solve that problem that your product actually solves. So it's not being unethical. You just don't have to be overly vocal about where your product is being shipped from. And it also might be an encouraging mechanism for you to go ahead and start working with the United States 3PL if that product does gain momentum and you do see the value in increasing the customer experience, developing increased brand, like equity and enterprise value, like exitable value, things of that nature. But like, we won't go too much into that. And then lastly, you have your US and your international 3PL. So this is really when you graduate from that dropshipping stage. You have a product that's just absolutely crushing it, and you see the value in reducing your customer issues or headaches that may arise from shipping. However, I have had many brands, as have many of my friends and many of my students, to where we work with great, reliable agents that ship the product quickly and that we are transparent with the shipping times. And we say, hey, it's going to take anywhere between 7 to 9 business days, and it generally always does. And in the instances where it doesn't, and the package gets lost in transit, we can refund the customer, we can give them a credit, we can ship them a new product, and no matter what, we get reimbursed by the supplier if it's the fault of them. But anyways, some people want to do this just to increase the enterprise value of the company, or to increase the user experience to a point where it increases the likelihood they're going to come back and purchase from you. So if you want to build out subscriptions, or if you want to expand your product line, or if you want to just provide, again, over deliver on your customer experience so that they then recommend your products to other people, right? And you create these referral customers where you get word of mouth business. Usually those things are only possible if you have an amazing product and okay fulfillment, or if you have a good product and amazing fulfillment. Now, I'm not gonna go too much into depth with working with the US 3PL because there are a lot of intricacies here, and I've had my fair share of 3PLs that I've used that I absolutely hated, and so I can only recommend one, and that's shipdudes.com. I've known these guys for well over a decade and the company as a whole, and I've actually seen them grow over the last like 5-6 years, and it's been a pretty incredible experience. They work with a lot of great brands, and they actually started from having their own brand that they were fulfilling for, and then they realized how they solved the intricacies of the problems of in-house fulfillment. And they said, man, a lot of companies probably have these problems too, so why don't we help them out? And then long story short, now they have hundreds of clients that they're helping in multiple warehouse locations, and I couldn't recommend them more. And everything that they've done for, you know, my brands and everything they've done for the clients that I've referred to them, they've just been awesome. So they are the only 3PL that I could recommend. So if you're in the market for one, definitely book a call with them. Learn more information about that. Now, finding a good agent, manufacturer, 3PL, it's very different than finding a good product, right? You also want to look at things like reviews. You want to look at how many orders that a specific seller or a product listing has to determine whether that product makes sense to sell, or it makes sense to work with that supplier because they're getting positive or negative feedback. But that's going to be a conversation for another time. You can use a lot of these different, you know, sourcing agent websites or product fulfillment websites, things like that, as mechanisms and engines to actually find winning products. But in most instances, once you're actually scaling a product, you want to work with an agent that is literally going to just fulfill the orders on command, update all the tracking numbers very quickly, send you those daily or weekly invoices that you can just pay, take care of, and all of that is just automated going on behind the scenes. All right, that's pretty much it for today's video. If you like this and you like the breakdowns of these documents and videos where we go over specific topics, we have a lot more trainings that are just like this regarding all areas of the e-commerce and the dropshipping business model in our Dropscale mastermind community, which is basically a group coaching community where me and the rest of my team help dozens of entrepreneurs just like you getting their first sales and hitting their first 8-figure years. So if you're interested in getting access to our exclusive trainings, our weekly group coaching calls, and having a direct line of communication with me and other e-commerce sellers that are on the same journey and have the same vision as you, then go ahead and join using the link in the description of this video. And just know that if you're watching this right now, it is the cheapest price it will ever be. We are consistently increasing the price and making it more and more exclusive to join because we don't want to share our industry secrets with too many people. And as always, if you got value out of this video, definitely leave a thumbs up and comment down below your experience with fulfillment and how you're currently fulfilling products for your dropshipping business. Oh, and also if you want the link of this doc, I'll leave that in the description. And for an in-depth breakdown of these individual sections, the links to our private suppliers, and a live breakdown of how to actually fulfill an order with an agent, all of that can be found in our Dropscale mastermind trainings. All right, that's it. I'll see you guys in the next video.